Well, hello friends, welcome. Join me today as I pack for a 10-day trip in a carry-on. I'm flying to Europe. I'm going to be in Greece for about a week and a half. I'll be doing my best to pack light. So let's get to packing, and I always like to begin by figuring out what clothing I'll be bringing with me on my trip. So check the weather. It looks like it's going to be warm but not hot. So put together a bit of a travel capsule of clothing items that I can mix and match together. The colors and styles complement each other so that I can make the most out of the limited space that I have. So on this trip, I'll be bringing one tank top, a sleeveless vest, 3 t-shirts, each with a slightly different style, 1 long sleeve shirt, 2 sweaters, a pair of overalls, 1 romper, 2 sets, 1 dress, 1 pair of shorts, 2 pairs of pants, a pair of leggings, athletic shorts for sleeping, and 1 bathing suit. And as I selected each of those items, I did very intentionally try to think through what items I wanted to pair with what, making sure that I had tangible plans for how I wanted to wear each item that I had. Because especially when you're traveling, carry-on space is very much at a premium, so you want to make sure that no items are going to be left unworn. Okay, but then once I have everything laid out, I next like to fold all of my clothing. When it comes to folding, I've tried packing cubes, I've tried rolling, I've tried just leaving things folded. But after dozens of flights, what I find works best is something of a hybrid between rolling my clothing and folding it. I like to call it the brick method because essentially what I try to do is to fold every item of clothing into a basic brick-like shape. And what this does is a couple of things. Number one, by folding everything into a similar shape, it allows me to store my items vertically in the suitcase so I can just glance in and immediately find what I'm looking for. It also reduces wrinkles and helps keep my suitcase organized. So how I do this is with things like tops and dresses. I'll begin just with folding the sides of the item in on itself, tucking the sleeves in, and then folding the top in on itself a handful of times. And that usually will create the brick shape that I'm looking for. Then with pants and shorts, I'll pair the pant legs together, then roll them a handful of times. There really isn't a science to it, just whatever is going to best get that item into that basic brick shape. With some items like this 2-piece set, it just requires a bit of creativity. Okay, but then with all my clothing folded, I like to just double check that I'm not forgetting anything. Sometimes just seeing it all laid out like this, you'll realize that there's something that you forgot to pack. Then I'll start putting everything in on the zippered side of the suitcase. I like to start with the larger items first and filling in with the smaller bits. As I'm doing this too, I will set aside any clothing items that I want to wear on my travel day or to pack in my personal item. Even though this is a carry-on suitcase, I do sometimes find it helpful to have an extra change of clothes in my personal item, especially since on this flight I will be traveling with my 1-year-old. And then let's talk about what goes in the other half of my carry-on suitcase, starting with shoes. I'm going to be bringing 3 pairs of shoes on this trip. 1 pair of sandals, which I'm packing here, a pair of sneakers that I plan to wear on the flight, and a pair of flip-flops. We'll be going to the beach at least a couple of times, so I wanted to have something waterproof. Then let's talk undergarments. I'm going to be bringing 10 pairs of underwear, 3 bras, and 5 pairs of socks. I'm not too concerned about packing extras because I will have access to a washer and dryer while I'm in Greece. So if I need to, I can do laundry, but barring an emergency, I should be set. And to my undergarments bag, I'm going to be adding just a couple miscellaneous things, a scrunchie, a little hair scarf, and a bandana. And since after all that, I still had a bit of extra room in this zippered bag, I also added in my bathing suit. I have a few of these either drawstring or cloth bags. I just find them so handy for packing, keeping things organized, and clean too. So here I am putting the camera I'll be bringing on the trip in one of those cloth bags as well. The last thing before filling up the suitcase, I often like to bring a bit of jewelry with me when traveling. Not much, I definitely travel on the more minimal side in this area, but a couple pairs of earrings, a few rings, a necklace, just a couple things to spice up my outfits. Then again, I'll lay out everything that I'm going to pack, my cloth bags. I especially love using these for shoes. That way the dirt on your shoes doesn't get everywhere. Then to the items I had already gathered, I did also add my curling iron so I'd be able to do my hair on the trip. Then I started putting everything in, and sometimes this is a bit more of a game of Tetris than others. For this trip though, everything fit in really easily. Honestly, there's so much room to spare in here. Things aren't packed in tightly at all, which is always a good problem to have. Okay, but that's everything that I packed in my carry-on. So now let's chat personal items. This backpack truly is my all-time favorite personal item. I'll show you all the reasons why I love it in a minute, but first there's still a couple of items we need to pack. Let's talk liquids. In this TSA approved bag, I'll be packing shampoo, conditioner, heat protectant spray, salt spray, some toothpaste, micellar water, my razor, which I know that's not a liquid, but it just makes the most sense to keep in here, and a makeup removing pad. After years of just getting annoyed with using random Ziploc bags from around our house, I finally decided to invest in this reusable bag that's just so much sturdier, and I honestly love it. I've used it on so many flights now, and it holds up really well. It holds all my essentials for showering and getting ready. And my makeup just always stays packed in this bag from Merit. I love the convenience of not having to pack my makeup each time. I can just grab it and go. There is quite a bit of room in the bag, so to it I added my deodorant, a comb, and some nail clippers. If you couldn't already tell, I love a bag, not just in my suitcase, but in my personal item too, just to keep everything organized. This one is for adapters and cords. I'm traveling with 2 adapters, my phone cord, and computer cord. Then in one final bag, I like to put essentially the contents of my purse. And in here go things like a pen, a notebook, my wallet, some hand sanitizer, hand cream, lip balm, lip gloss, some medicine, perfume, and a small hair clip. Okay, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I realize there are some liquids in here, but I have traveled with this setup so many times and I have never once, even internationally, been asked twice about it. So until the small amount of liquids in these causes me any problems, I'm gonna continue traveling like this because it just makes it so convenient not to have to unpack and repack everything when you reach your destination. But then let's not forget the most important things. I like to pack my passports as well as AirPods in this little Coach wristlet. I love how the little wrist strap on this just makes travel days really easy because it allows my passport to be very easily accessible while still keeping me hands-free. Oh, and can't forget the toothbrush, right? Okay, but then with all my bags and pouches packed, I like to lay everything out. So I'm going to be bringing with me my change of clothes, my water bottle, my laptop, my cords bag, my daily essentials pouch, the wristlet containing my passport, my makeup bag, my toothbrush, the liquids bag, an eye mask, which I found really helpful when flying, my Kindle, this gingham tote bag, which I plan to use as a purse in Greece, some lactate pills, and a protein bar in case I'm feeling a snack. Then this is where the magic happens and why I love this bag so much. It looks like a regular backpack, but it actually opens up like a suitcase, making it so easy to pack and also to reach inside and get what you need. So I just laid a lot of the bigger items out in this main compartment. This bag is really going to come in handy as well. We have a couple of overnight trips planned for while we are in Greece, so I'm going to be able to use this for that purpose in addition to using it as my personal item on the flight. And just like with my suitcase, I'm really not packing this thing out. It looks full, but it is barely. I could fit so much more in here. I just don't have more that I need to bring. I will be bringing my laptop though, so I put that in the dedicated laptop compartment at the back. And then opened up, this is another feature that I love, the liquids section. I put my liquids in that and it's perfect because if anything does bust or leak, it has an extra added layer of protection. Then I'm not using it on this trip, but figured I'd show you really cool. There's also a little section in here where you can put a pair of shoes. Then in the 2 pockets at the front, I put in my eye mask, lactate pills, and snack. At this point, I was pretty much fully packed, so I snapped together the buckles. If you need them, they can add a bit of extra compression. Then I put my little passport bag in this hidden pocket that goes right against your back. I love that it provides just an extra little layer of security. Then all that was left to do was to lay out my bags, my clothing for the flight. I am fully packed and ready to leave for Greece in less than 24 hours. So I really hope that you enjoyed coming along. Let me know in the comments what your travel essentials are and follow along with the adventure. I'm going to be flying solo to Greece with a 1-year-old. It's going to be crazy, so make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss anything. Until next time, friends, happy travels.